Okay, we're on record.
All right, I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Minor Site Plan and Subdivision Committee of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. The announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given and that it is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call?
Mr. Dedich?
Here.
Mr. Mealy?
Here.
Mr. Napolitano?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Chairman Mack?
Present.
We also have our board planner, Ms. Winter, and our board attorney, Ms. Steiner. Do we have our, oh yeah, and our board engineer. Yes, we
That's it
have
too?
him down at the end.
Okay.
Mr. Canjiano.
So we have a full house. Cool. All right, I'd like to call the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, are there any members of the public here with any business not on our agenda tonight? Seeing none, I'd like to call our first application. Counselor?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Nice to see you again. Richard Steiner of the law firm of Vogel, J. Collins and Steiner on behalf of the applicant Colonial Heights LLC. To my left is Eric Keller, who you're all familiar with. Certainly at the risk, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, nor to be frivolous, but I can hopefully objectively say this should be about as simple and straightforward as they come. The property in question is block 388, lot 1, 300 Parsippany Road. All the applicant seeks to do in this case is to replace an existing swimming pool that serves the apartment complex and essentially replace it with a pergola. That's as concise and simple as I can articulate it. We're in receipt of both the planners and engineers review report as they specifically relates to certain review comments and recommendations, none of which we have any issues or concerns with. As I indicated, Mr. Keller's here. He could, if the board so inclined, I can have him run through summarily what we're proposing. Would you like me to do that, Gordon?
It's your case.
If you want me to switch,
Oh, yeah, we have to do waivers first. Forgot about that.
Get through the technicality. On Appendix A, number 13, in regards to any protective covenants or deed restrictions, we just would need an affidavit as part of resolution compliance.
yeah.
That's fine. And we have an Alta survey, we have a title report.
Yep.
There are no restrictions that prevent what we're doing,
Okay.
put it that way. There are easements and other things on the property.
Waiver from the contours, this is Form 3, number 11. Location of existing buildings and their setbacks. Number 13, it's been provided for the immediate area of improvement, so we have no objection there. 18, existing proposed utility service. It just talked about any impacts that may be as a result of this application. On Form 3, number 20, site illumination, just testimony if any is proposed. And number 27, for a temporary contractors, structures and storage areas, which I believe are not needed for this project, so we have no objections there.
Okay,
That's it.
can I entertain a motion to accept the waivers?
Mr. Chairman, a motion to approve as noted.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We're
Thank
good on the
you.
waivers.
I'll have Eric run through it. Do you need me to swear, Mr. Keller?
Yes, if you please raise your right hand to swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And just state your name and address for the record, and then state that your licenses are good, current, good standing.
Okay. Eric Keller, Keller, Bowman Consulting Group, 6 Campus Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey. I'm a licensed professional engineer and planner in the state of New Jersey. and both licenses are current and in good standing.
Do you plan to give any planning testimony or just engineering?
No, but I might as well throw it in there in case somebody asks me a planning question, and I got it
Okay.
covered.
Your planning license is current and good standing?
Yes.
Okay.
Board accepts Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, in the interest of time, you heard my opening remarks. With reference to the plans that were submitted, can you take us through that which is being proposed by the applicant and what is being proposed to replace the existing swimming pool?
Certainly. So the swimming pool is located just as you come into the community on one of the main driveways. It has not been used in a long time. It's a lot of concrete and it's a lot of impervious coverage. So we're gonna demolish all of that. The concrete from the pool deck will be, we've had discussions with the township engineer as far as soil movement goes, for crushing that and using that to fill the pool. There is still going to be an import needed to bring the site up to grade. And then we're going to put in a sidewalk that connects the playground to the west, to the leasing office. The pool is right next to the leasing office, which will double as our, kind of our core for construction activities. As I said, the pool's right next to the roadway, so everything will be directly related to that access road. And we're going to build a small patio with a pergola on top of it. It's 10 foot by 14 foot, it's about 9 feet in height. The height of that, I know we'll add it to our plans, but it was in the package. We submitted 8.5 by 11 catalog cut of the, I think we did, of the pergola. But we'll add it to the plans. It's only 9 feet in height, so it's less than the 15 foot that's allowable. And then we're going to attractively landscape the area, provide a buffer to the parking lot and to the building that's to the northwest. Which is it, number? We have to modify an existing modular block wall there, and we're going to construct a vinyl picket fence just to provide separation between the wall and the existing playground. And that's pretty much what we're doing. It's a reduction in impervious coverage, so any runoff is reduced. We have an exemption from the county planning board, and we have our SCD certification because we are disturbing more than 5,000 square feet, but well less than an acre. And that's pretty much it. I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Any questions, Mr. Mealy?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Keller,
Yes, sir.
what sort of a time frame do we anticipate between demolition and renewal?
Once they start, they're gonna finish.
This year.
This year.
Okay, thank you.
We've waited a little while to get to this point, so. A couple of hiccups along the way, but.
Ms. Winter, any questions?
And we, talking about hiccups, the pergola is gonna be open on,
Yes,
open roofing.
it's an open roof, so
It doesn't
it
count
doesn't add
against.
to the building coverage and create a variance, so we can come here.
Okay, and Mr. Canjiano, any questions? I'll get to you.
No, I don't have anything. You were going to update the plan with the roof height and the dimensions?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right,
Or no roof height?
well, I mean, it's not to the roof, it's to the top of the structure.
Okay.
The open
I stand
pergola
corrected.
frame,
Top of the
because
structure.
there's no roof on it. Let's not go there.
Mr. Napolitano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There seems to be a smaller pool on some of the plans. Is that still there? Is that gonna be?
No, that
is
was
probably
a-
like a kiddie pool or something like that?
It was a planter area. There were
Okay.
two, one was round and
Yep.
one was
The large one's
kind of egg shaped.
Gotcha.
They're gonna come out. And, because they're stuck in the middle of the concrete. So, and those are areas we're gonna landscape.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Didich, anything?
A couple of quick questions just for the, so that we have it recorded. So any idea how much soil or anything dirt you plan to import?
I think it's about 150 cubic yards. So
And-
it's, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 trucks.
Okay, that's not too much.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to bring in topsoil.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing there.
Right, okay. And then, any route for those trucks? I know it's not too much, but still,
Right out to Parsippany Road and then, whether it's down to 287 or up to Route 80.
Okay,
But it'll all be on county or state highways, no
Okay.
local roads,
all right, sounds good, thank you.
except their own local road.
Okay, Ms. Smith, anything? You're the only one who hasn't asked yet.
No, I'm taking notes for my permit. Nope.
All right, seeing no more questions, Mr. Schneider, you want to wrap up or not?
Sure, we worked,
Oh, wait, I gotta open to the public first. Any members of the public have any questions on the testimony so far? All right, seeing none,
I'll be brief,
yeah,
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, we worked, hopefully cooperatively with your professionals. The primary purpose was to frankly try to avoid, creating any variance so that we wouldn't have to appear before the entirety of the board. We achieved that by the pergola not having a roof. We'll agree to comply with all of your outstanding, recommendation as part of compliance, and, I guess the requested step would be to act upon it favorably for before the full board.
okay. I think I was negligent to see if there's any members of the public who have any comments about this. Not just questions, but comments. Any members of the public have any comments on this, for or against? Seeing none, all right. I'd like to close then I will close the public portion of this meeting and entertain a motion. Or does anyone feel the need to go into conference? Nora gave me the look.
Mr. Chairman, a motion to approve application number 25503, Colonial Heights, Parsippany Road, block 388, lot 1.
And the conditions were just to comply with the recommendations in the board planner and board engineers reports, including adding the details of the pergola to the plans.
Correct.
As noted, ma'am.
Second, Dadich.
We have a motion, we have a second. Nora, will you please call the roll?
Didich?
Yes.
Neely?
Yes.
Napolitano?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Neff?
Yes. All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Council, this then gets, that's the formal action, there's nothing the full board has to,
Correct.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the minor site plan committee?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
You're on record.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me get this so I can read it properly. Meeting of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Planning Board for Monday, October 6, 2025 at 7:30 PM. Announcement is made that adequate notice of this meeting has been given, that is being conducted in accordance with NJSA 10:4-6 at sec of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Nor would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Didich?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Councilwoman Hernandez?
Here.
Mr. Mealy?
Here.
Mr. Neff?
Present.
Mr. Napolitano?
Here?
Mr. Shaw?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Chairman Dinsmore?
Here.
We also have our board planner, Ms. Winter, our board engineer, Mr. Canjiano, and our board attorney, Ms. Steinley.
If you could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we start with a couple of resolutions. We've got the Park and Willow Lanes resolution. We've also got the Wildlife Preserves resolution that we're going to hear tonight. In your list, in your material, you've got the list of who's eligible to vote for Park and Willow Lanes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve Park and Willow Lane. I guess those were our master plan consistency review. Do you need me to read the block and lot numbers, or?
We have historically, but
Okay, block 392, lots 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1.04, and 1.05.
all right, do I have a second?
Second, Hernandez.
Very good. Nora, would you call the roll, please?
DePiero,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Neff,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes. All right, the wildlife preserves, we don't have that in our packet, but it was sent out to us earlier.
Right, those who vote, who can vote, are DeVich, DePiero, Neely, Neff, Shaw, Smith, Dinsmore.
All right, out of that group, is there somebody willing to approve? Could you read the title of that?
Application 25504, Wildlife Preserves, Troy Meadow Road, Block 764, Lot 26.01.
All right, do I have a motion approving that?
Mr. Chairman, a motion to approve as the secretary just mentioned.
Thank you, Mr. Mealy.
Second, that it,
Very good.
DeVich,
yes.
DePiero,
Yes.
Neely,
Yes.
Neff,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Smith. Yes. Dinsmore.
Yes. All right, that moves us to our one item on our agenda for tonight. We have application number, you know what? You're right. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to this board but on any topic that is not on our agenda for tonight? The meeting is briefly open to the general public, hearing and seeing none. Now we can move on to the agenda item. And application number 25:510, GREP Acquisition LLC, 169 Lackawanna Avenue, Block 136, Lots 33, Zone SED 5A, preliminary and final major site plan with major soil moving permit for construction of a warehouse.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Nicole Madziak, Magdziak, of the law firm Day Pitney, here this evening on behalf of the applicant. We are here seeking preliminary and final major site plan approval, in addition to major soil moving approval and a bulk variance related to the property at 169 Lackawanna Avenue. This property is subject to a redevelopment plan, which was recently adopted a few months ago by the Township Council, which this board previously reviewed for consistency prior to that adoption. So the property is located in a redevelopment area consistent with the redevelopment plan. We are proposing to demolish an existing commercial building that's located on the property and to construct an approximately 271,000 square foot warehouse on the property. The development is proposed consistent with all of the requirements in the redevelopment plan. The variance that we are seeking this evening is from the underlying ordinance as it relates to the driveway width. We're proposing a width of 35 feet, which is really a function of the site itself and the proposed use because of the trucks that need to get in and out, where your ordinance permits a maximum width of 24 feet. We also have some design waivers associated with landscaping, which our engineer will speak through this evening. So with me this evening, I have several witnesses. Our first witness, Matt Schwindlin, who is a representative of the applicant, GREP, Acquisition 1 LLC. And then we also have, just to preview our our roster of folks who are here this evening. We have Chris Soleil, our engineer, and our planner, John McDonough. We do have our traffic engineer here with us this evening. In the review letters that we received from your professionals, we did not have any comments related to that traffic report. It is a permitted use, so traffic was considered at the time of use being allowed. So he is here to answer questions. If you'd like him to run through his report, we're happy to do that as well. So we'd like to start with Mr. Schwindlin to provide an overview of the site.
Talking about this aforesaid waivers.
All right, so just a few. On Appendix A, number 10, approval from the Morris County Planning Board. They're requesting a waiver submitted, that they would submit upon approval of the subject application. We don't have an objection to that. On Form 514, floor plan for existing proposed buildings, which have been provided. The catch there is that they need to be by a New Jersey licensed architect, and they were prepared by an engineer, as the applicant pointed out from the NJDCA bulletin, which states that an architect or engineer may sign and seal plans for use group F factory and industrial buildings, so we have no objection to that. Number 24, the location design of solid waste disposal containers, recycling. They're requesting a partial waiver, saying that the location of the proposed trash compactor on the exterior of the building is depicted on the revised site plan. We don't have an objection there. And then on Form 7, to demonstrate that all the conditions of the preliminary approval have been satisfied as a combined preliminary and final. We don't have an objection to that. And number 3, that they be on separate sheets for the final and preliminary site plan, and we don't have an objection there either.
All right, would there be a motion approving the waivers mentioned in the ARH Associates memo of September 8th, 2025?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the waivers as noted.
Do I have a second?
A second, Hernandez.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Counselor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. With that, we'd like to introduce our first witness, Mr. Schwindlin.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address for the record.
Yeah, it's Matthew Schlinwein, SCHLINDWEIN, and address is 1 Kimberly Road, Suite 105, East Brunswick, New Jersey.
All right. And this is just fact witness?
This is a fact witness. Yes, correct.
I am a professional engineer, but just testifying as a fact witness this evening.
Thank you.
Do you want me to?
Yes, Matt, for the board, if you can just provide your title and role with the applicant's organization and just some experience that you have with similar projects.
Yeah, absolutely. So my title is managing partner of the firm. The firm is Greek Real Estate Partners. It's been around for almost 90 years. We've done a number of similar facilities all across the state of New Jersey. And what was the other question?
Your experience with similar projects, but particularly in Parsippany.
Oh, yeah. So I'll be brief because I know we have a team of professionals for you to hear from tonight. So in our portfolio, we own and manage a significant amount of properties across the state of New Jersey, over 200 buildings and over 15 million square feet of similar properties. In Parsippany alone, we have 7 buildings with 10 tenants, representing about 305,000 square feet. The uses in the buildings are all similar uses as what we would propose for this building, which it's a lot of regional businesses, warehousing and distribution users, and light manufacturing users. The existing portfolio, the average tenant size is a little bit smaller. The existing portfolio, we have, our average tenant size is around 30,000 square feet. The buildings are a little bit smaller than this building. This building is, set up as a little bit of a bigger footprint and will probably be occupied by either 1 or 2 users. that would occupy the 281,000 square feet that we're proposing.
And Matt, just for the record, as you're speaking to the proposed tenants and tenants that you have in other buildings that are similar to this, confirming for the record that at this time, we do not have a tenant, correct?
Yeah, so I should specify that. So most of the buildings that we develop the buildings on speculation. So what we find is a lot of times the users aren't ready to sign a lease until the building's a little bit further along, and sometimes even standing and completed. So we don't know who the initial tenant would be, and the term of our typical leases is like 5 to 10 years in the portfolio. So even if we knew who the first user would be, we wouldn't necessarily know who the second user would be. So what we do is we build these buildings to be what we consider best-in-class product, to be adaptable for the most amount of users over the lifespan of the building. We own and operate the buildings ourselves. Here, we've been in town, I guess it's back since at least the 80s in Parsippany, in the buildings that we own here, and we've been operating them ever since. So that's our typical plan. So while we don't know who the exact user will be, we can say that it will definitely be a user that would be a permitted use in the redevelopment plan. And our existing portfolio of tenants would all also be permitted uses, with the uses that are complementary to the redevelopment plan.
And with that in mind, understanding again that we don't have a specific tenant, just to provide the board with some information, because you've developed other properties and you have this portfolio, with the expected number of employees and shifts and hours?
Yeah, absolutely. The expected number of shifts is usually one shift. We obviously want the ability for a tenant to use the building 24/7, although most of our tenants, except for one of the 10 tenants that we currently have in town now, operate routinely with just one shift, and sometimes will flex to a second shift if there's a seasonal need to do so. We do have one tenant that's a manufacturer, and they operate multiple shifts. Their first shift, I think, they're actually the tenant that has the most employees out of all of our buildings. So their first shift, they have the majority of the employees, and then they have a second and third shift, which is kind of like more for cleaning and maintenance on the third shift, and the second shift is continued manufacturing, but like at a lot lower level. In terms of the number of employees, I would say that the average tenant in our portfolio, and I made some notes. So I think that the average amount of employees across our portfolio, except for one, we have one tenant who has a lot of employees. They run those 3 shifts, which has 120 employees, but the rest of the buildings only have, combined amongst all of them, just over 100 employees, which 104 employees across 270,000 square feet. And I think that's probably what we'll see here, especially with the larger footprints of the space. And I think we have more than ample parking, which you'll hear from our professionals. And then obviously we would only lease the building to somebody who could use it. We would never, and I know it's easy to say, but we obviously, we're going to own this building and we're going to manage this building. So any issues with the use of the building would be our problems to deal with. So that's the last thing that we want. So we control all of our leases to make sure that, quite frankly, our users also wouldn't want to lease a building if it doesn't have the amount of parking that it would need to have for their use. So I think here, the amount of parking spaces that we have is probably similar to the amount of employees that we would have in the building, which is somewhere between 100 and 150 employees is what we would expect a building of this size to have.
And Matt, we do have the architectural plans up on the board, which were developed by your company,
Yes.
by Greek. So if you can just briefly run us through, given the way that we're proposing the layout, of course, understanding that it could be subdivided in different ways, the building internally subdivided in different ways depending on the number of tenants. I think you can wander with that. I think so. It should work.
Hopefully I didn't break anything.
And this sheet
Okay.
was previously provided?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this was
Yes.
provided with the application. Wow, it's a lot better talking close to the mic. This was provided with the application. This is our floor plans and elevation view. One thing that I should say about Greek Real Estate Partners is we're a fully vertically integrated development company. So we acquire the properties, We design the properties ourselves, and we actually also do the construction ourselves, and then we manage the properties when they're done. So our in-house design group designed this plan under my supervision. This is the layout of the plan. It's a 281,000 square foot building. As you can see, we have dock doors on one side of the building, and then the other side of the building is set up to have office entrances. We expect to have 2 tenants in the building. We could potentially have 3, but the building really sets up well to be divided once somewhere in the middle and having 2 tenants with office entrances that we're going to install in both of the 2 corners. So even if the initial tenancy is a single tenant occupier, we would still have that flexibility in the future to have 2 tenants in the building. We designed the buildings out of concrete wall panels. It's very similar to a lot of other warehouses that you've probably seen in town or up and down any of the interstates. We add reveals and paint patterns to the walls to give them a little bit of an architectural flair, with some fluted panels at the corners, entrances, some small canopies above the entrances, to give it a look. The height of the building is well within the allowable height in the redevelopment plan. The way the township measures the height, it's the average grade 6 feet out from the building to the peak of the roof. I think we're coming in just around 49, between 49 and 50, I believe, and the allowable in the redevelopment plan allows 60. So we should be well within and underneath of the height. The way that the building is constructed on the inside, it's just, it's steel columns with a metal roof deck inside the building. I can answer any other questions. I don't want to bore everyone with construction of warehouses, but I'd be happy to continue.
Yes, that's all we have for direct for this particular witness.
Are there any questions by members of the board? How many terminals?
What was that question?
How many terminals?
How many dock doors on the building?
Right.
I don't know the exact count, but I think we have 39. Yeah, 39 dock doors with 2 drive-in doors at each end.
Other members of the board have questions on this witness, on this testimony? Other members of the public who have questions of this witness on this testimony?
And I'll still be here if something comes up later and you guys want to ask me a question as representative of ownership.
Hearing and seeing none, Counselor?
Thank you. Our next witness is our civil engineer, Chris Delay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name, spell your last name, and provide your address for the record.
Yes, my name is Christopher Saleh. Last name is S as in Sam, Z as in Zebra, A-L-A-Y. I currently work at Menlo Engineering Associates, located at 261 Cleveland Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey. I received a civil engineering degree from the University of Rhode Island in 2008, and I've been a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 2013. And I've testified in front of multiple boards throughout the state, including Middlesex County, Somerset County, Warren County, Hudson, Bergen, Essex, Monmouth Ocean. And my license is in good standing.
We'd like to offer Mr. Zelay as a professional civil engineer.
Any questions on the qualifications of this witness? Hearing and seeing none.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tonight we prepared 2 exhibits, which I will mark into evidence. The first is entitled 169 Lackawanna Avenue Existing Conditions Exhibit, dated today, 10/6/25, which I'll mark as A1. And what this exhibit depicts is essentially an aerial of the existing conditions of the site, with the property boundary highlighted with a north arrow pointed up to orient the board, and a little bit of the surrounding areas along the perimeter. And the second exhibit we prepared, which I'll mark as Exhibit A2, is the same aerial background, but with this submitted site plan and zoning overlaid on top of the aerial as a colorized rendering with landscaping shown. And this plan is entitled 169 Lackawanna Avenue Overall Plan Exhibit, also dated 10/6/25.
You tilt it a little bit more so public can see it.
Thanks, John.
Very good. Thank you.
So going back to Exhibit A1, the subject property is approximately a 20.54 acre parcel designated as Block 136, Lot 33, as shown on the tax map for the Township of Parsippany. It's located on the south side of Lackawanna Avenue, approximately 1,300 feet from the intersection with Walsh Drive. The site is within the SED-5A zone, but is subject to the redevelopment plan entitled 169 Lackawanna Avenue Redevelopment Area, revised through May 22nd, 2025. Surrounding the properties, you'll see it essentially sits at the end of a industrial warehouse cul-de-sac. There's industrial uses to the north, east, and south sides of the property, and then there are single-family residences off the west side of the property. The site is currently developed with a multi-story office building, footprints about 150,000 square feet, and ancillary parking of approximately 887 parking spaces. Access to the site is by way of two full-access driveways on Lackawanna Avenue, one towards the middle of the property at the end of Lackawanna Avenue, and then another one towards the northeast corner of the property. The remaining site is open space along the property frontage with some trees dispersed throughout there along the street. And then there's thin strips of woods along the east and south perimeters of the project, and then a more hefty wooded buffer along the west side of the property that actually sits within a 150-foot residential buffer. And within that wooded area, there's pockets of wetlands that have been verified per a DEP LOI, and the wetlands contain 50-foot associated buffer. The wetlands are mostly located towards the southwest corner of the property, and then a second small area of wetlands near the northwest corner of the property.
And Mr. Zalay, just while you're speaking to the wetlands and that buffer, this proposed development, which I know we'll get to the site plan, but is not proposing to disturb any of that area, correct?
Correct. We're staying completely outside of the wetlands and wetland buffers. The existing development also does, and the proposed improvements stay within the existing disturbed area of the site. The site is relatively flat within the disturbed area, the existing office complex. Along the property, there is some undulation, there's some berms and existing screening that really kind of puts the developed area lower than the surrounding areas, and it does provide some natural screening from the surrounding properties. But the site utilizes a stormwater collection system that discharges all stormwater to the northwest corner of the property, which is really the lowest point, to an existing wet pond. And the only other site features, there's a retaining wall that runs along the southwest corner, kind of wraps around to the west side of the property, that limits disturbance and keeps it out of that wetland buffer. And it's something I want to point out because it's a feature that will remain under site improvements, again, staying out of the wetland buffers and staying within the existing disturbed area of the site. So moving to Exhibit A2, showing the proposed site improvements. What the applicant is seeking approval for tonight is to, one, demo the existing office building and associated features, and seeking approval for a new 281,198 square foot warehouse that includes 10,000 square feet of office space split to the southeast and southwest corners of the site into two 5,000 square foot spaces. Ancillary parking includes 144 parking spaces. Loading includes 39 loading docks and an additional 2 drive-in ramps and 30 trailer storage spaces along the north side of the building. Now, the site contains bulk setbacks per the redevelopment plan, 100-foot front yard setback, 50-foot side yard setbacks, and a 75-foot rear yard setback, in addition to the 150-foot residential buffer along the western property line. So the building is set in a location where we comply with all of those requirements. It's kind of shifted down to the southwest a little bit, closer to the eastern property line and southern property line, gives plenty of room along the frontage of the site, and similarity with the properties up and down Lackawanna Avenue, and it kind of tucks the building further away from the residential properties off the west side of the project. So again, we're compliant with all of those redevelopment plan requirements. In addition to that, we're meeting the requirements for the maximum building height of approximately 49 feet where 60 feet is permitted, building coverage of 31.4%, where 35% is permitted, and maximum impervious coverage of 54%, where I believe it's 60% is permitted. So well under what's permitted for those coverages. Access to the site, again, we're maintaining those two. The location of the access points is maintaining the existing access locations, but the access drives are being reconstructed and widened a bit to 35 feet to accommodate truck traffic now, where previously as an office space it was mostly passenger vehicles. We obviously want a larger access and larger driveways to allow for safe maneuvering of trucks crossing each other and safe maneuvering of trucks intermingling with passenger vehicles. So we're providing 35-foot wide drives which enter the site, and to the north side of the facility, the first area that they'll come into contact with is that loading area where we have 13 by 60 loading spaces and 30 12 by 55 trailer storage spaces located on the north side of the building. Again, we have two drive-in ramps, one at each end of the loading docks, and then we're providing a compactor adjacent to the east drive-in ramp to neatly and cleanly collect any refuse from the building into an enclosed compactor. Beyond the loading area, the driveway is narrowed to a 24-foot wide drive aisle, which is more what you see for passenger vehicles. That provides access to the rear southern end of the building. We're providing 144 passenger vehicle parking spaces. They're size 9 by 18 with 24-foot wide drive aisle around the back of the facility. The 144 spaces include 6 handicap spaces, 3 near each office space, and 6 make-ready EV parking spaces also on the east and west end of the site. Near the building offices. And then there will be a 6-foot wide sidewalk that runs along that southern building facade that provides access and ADA accessibility to the building and offices from the parking on that side of the site. The improvements ultimately reduce impervious coverage. As I stated, we're reducing impervious coverage by about 24,000 square feet. And we're reducing the motor vehicle surface by even more than that, because the previous building footprint was about 150,000 square feet, where this building is closer to 280,000 square feet. So that also provides some benefits to the site, where it's cleaner stormwater runoff leaving the site coming from the building rather than motor vehicle surface. So it's providing multiple beneficial improvements to this site. It's a site that's been, kind of out of use for a while with that office space, which we all know is not as in demand as it used to be. Now we're coming in with a nice new facility to really come in, kind of complete the Lackawanna corridor and bring in a new user. Really lastly, there's a freestanding sign located near the midpoint between the two entrances that meets all the ordinance redevelopment plan requirements. It's about 38 square feet in area, a little over 5 feet in height, about 5 feet 3 inches in height, and it's set back 10 feet from the right-of-way line, which again all comply with the redevelopment plan. And although we didn't show it on the elevations, the applicant intends to provide facade signage, again in compliance with the redevelopment plan, but until a tenant is really signed, the signage hasn't been designed to date. And the only variance or deviation that we are seeking tonight is for that 35-foot wide driveway entering the site. It's 35 feet where 24 is permitted. Again, this is really a function of truck traffic and wanting to have the safest design possible. We want to have ample room for trucks and vehicles to pass each other in these driveways. You'll see even with the kind of a more curved curvature in the driveways that requires even more space for trucks to pass each other. So we provided a truck movement plan that shows trucks can maneuver the site safely, emergency vehicles can maneuver the site safely, and we will have the planner come up and provide additional justification for that variance, but it's really for safety and maneuverability. Moving on to stormwater utilities, we are with this is a major development since we're providing more than an acre of disturbance, but with the reduction of impervious coverage, we're really satisfying quantity and groundwater recharge requirements in accordance with DEP regulations. And water quality is really not required as we're not increasing motor vehicle surface. We're increasing building footprint, which again is clean runoff generated that previously was not in place. And then we're maintaining the existing wet ponds and providing a new underground stormwater system on site to convey all runoff to that existing wet ponds. So we're maintaining the existing drainage pattern while complying with all stormwater requirements. Regarding sewer, water, gas, electric, that's all existing infrastructure that's either along Lackawanna Avenue or running down the eastern property line. There's a couple existing utilities there that we're tying into. So all of those utilities will be accommodated from existing infrastructure nearby the site. We're working with the township professionals and departments to satisfy all of their concerns. Moving on to landscape, being that we're attempting to maintain much of, or some of the existing site and existing landscape, such as the existing natural wooded buffers along the perimeter of the site, we're taking down only trees that are really within the existing parking area and an existing facility. We're maintaining many of the streetscape that exists today along Lackawanna Avenue, but with maintaining that existing landscaping, we're also providing 52 shade trees, 55 evergreen trees, and 205 ground cover to supplement what's being maintained with some additional, nice new landscape. And really, there's a comment from, I believe, the planner that discusses having streetscape along a new sidewalk along the frontage of the property, which we're seeking relief from for a couple of reasons. One, the existing landscape is actually very nice along the frontage of the property, but we'd be happy to supplement that, work with the planner and supplement that if needed, but we're maintaining the existing landscape for the majority of the frontage. And then really providing a sidewalk along the frontage. There's not any sidewalk along Lackawanna Avenue. It really wouldn't lead anywhere. So if okay with the board, if okay with the planner, we'd seek relief from that since it really doesn't provide much walkability for anyone near the site or on the site. And moving on to lighting. The lighting we've designed to be safe and adequate for this site. We're using LED fixtures, which provide green infrastructure and light levels that are compliant with the redevelopment plan. We have 11 pole-mounted LED fixtures mounted at 29.5 feet dispersed throughout the site to supplement 18 wall-mounted fixtures that are mounted at 30 feet in height. They cast light out into the parking area, loading area, drive aisles to provide safe maneuverability, since obviously this facility will be open during hours where it's sundown. So we do want to provide safety features. The minimum foot candles are 0.5 foot candles and an average of 2.48 foot candles throughout the site. The only comment that on the lighting really is that we have some spillage off the eastern property line. Again, that's part of function of us shifting the building more towards the southeast, keeping it away from the residents, and providing, it's spilling over the property line because we're really tucked up along that eastern property line. But we can work with the planner if everyone feels that there's too much spillage there. We really have about 0.6 foot candles at the property line, where we could reduce it potentially by lowering those wall-mounted lights. But really, the spillage doesn't even encroach into the adjacent facility's loading area, so the impact to the adjacent property owner is minimal, and that spillage will stay within the treed and wooded area there. So to me, the negative impacts of it is minimal. And that, I believe that really wraps up my direct testimony.
Yeah, and Mr. Zalay, we'd like to go through, and Mr. Chairman, we'd like to go through the review letters as well, in terms of the engineering comments, but I don't know if we want to pause for comments related to the direct testimony first and then jump into the review letters, or if you'd like us to.
Historically, I turn to our engineers so that we don't ask
Sure.
stupid questions.
Okay.
Well, if you're gonna go through the review letter, that'll answer most of my questions, and I know you guys provided a response letter as well. But in particular, I wanted to bring up just one item, the one where to the southeast of your property is a township-owned property. I think it's lot 65, and you'll have to give an access easement to that property. I know you said that you would work with the town engineer on that. Can you just talk about what that means to your site plan by giving access to that property, to the rear of your property? Maybe
Thank you.
Or show where it is.
Yeah, thank you. I skipped over that in my testimony, and I didn't mean to. So what your engineer is referring to is there's an existing township-owned water tower that's off the southeast corner of the property, really off the south corner of the property. And today, through the existing office facility, there's a gate that provides access to that water tower. So it'll essentially be through the existing facility. And the applicant is okay in maintaining that existing gate exactly where it is, providing access for the township through that gate to the water tower. And really what it means for the application of the project is striping off 2 or 3 of the parking spaces where they currently are shown and relocating them. We have some additional green space towards the middle of the parking aisle in the south side of the site. So we'll relocate a few spaces and then just provide some gore striping in front of that gate to allow access. And then we'll work with the township on creating that access easement.
Okay, so you'll do the access easement through the property. And what does that mean to your parking count? You required 143, you have 144.
Yeah, we won't lose any. We'll just relocate 2 or 3 of the spaces to provide that access, and we'll relocate it into some of the green space that's towards the middle of the parking area. So we won't lose any spaces.
Thanks.
And Mr. Zalay, just to confirm for the record, by adding spaces in that green area, we will still comply with the required impervious coverage, correct?
Yeah, since we have some fluff there, it'll be no issue.
Thank you.
That's all I had. You said you're gonna go through the letters?
Yes, yes. So, Mr. Zalay, we did submit dated September 24th, 2025, responses to the review letter, just to provide essentially a courtesy preview of what we would provide testimony on for the board. So if we can run through in the order of your letter, the review letters that we received, noting the which letter you're talking about and the date of it, starting with the planner's letter.
Right, so we did provide a response letter dated September 24th, 2025 from my office, Menlo Engineering, addressing each of the comments in the board professionals' review memos. We noted where we'd provide additional testimony. I think I've provided most of the testimony from each of the comments that we stated. So I think simply we will comply or work with the township professionals on each of the comments in the review memos. And we really didn't have any pushback other than, where we won't comply exactly, we'll work with the township professionals to address the comments. But, I don't want to.
I think if we start with the September 8th, 2025 ARH Associates,
Okay.
There are certain comments, at least I had noted. Comment 12 relates to agreeing to provide the required number of EV spaces, and we will
Correct.
do so, correct?
Yep.
And then if we jump to the GPI review letter dated August 28th, 2025, if we can just touch upon, I think we did.
We said testimony provided for the facade signage, which we did. We're requesting relief from the street sidewalk and street trees, which again, we're requesting relief, and we'll work with the township planner to their satisfaction if the board would like to see some additional plantings. Under 4C, a compactor will be provided, which I testified to. D is again regarding the streetscape along Lackawanna Avenue and the sidewalk, which again, we'll work with the board planner. E had to do with the light levels spilling onto the adjacent property, which again, in even visiting the site, it's spilling into really just the trees that are along the perimeter of the site and potentially into the loading area, but our light levels show that the levels are 0 getting to the loading area, so it's really within the wooded area along the east side of the site. Number 5 is the deviation for the maximum driveway width, and
I think if we just, comment number 8 relating to the major soil movement permit, we did include that with our application, correct?
correct, that was included with the site plan application.
And can you just talk through, we are proposing more than the 1,500 cubic yards, so in addition to needing planning board approval, we need township council approval as well, correct?
That's correct.
And we will apply for that if we receive an approval from this board, correct?
Correct.
Comment 12 related to the solid waste and recycling facility locations, which you pointed out the compactor.
Correct.
13 through 25 require plan revisions and coordinations with the township engineer, and we will agree to comply with those, correct?
Correct.
The wetlands. And then if we can just jump to the fire protection subcode official dated August 28th, 2025, we are agreeing to revise the plans to address these comments, correct?
Yes, and working with him regarding the fire loop, I think there's some, whether the hydrants can be tied into the fire loop, we're working with him to satisfy those comments essentially.
And same with the water review letter dated August 10th, 2025, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's all we have for our testimony of this witness.
The members of the board have
Mr.
questions.
Chairman, can I just follow up on a
Sure.
couple of things there? So, going back to items 13 through 29 on the engineer's report, those are basic revisions and those things we noted on grading plans and storm piping, you agreed to comply. So can you just talk about the wet basin? And we had asked that at the end of construction, that it's also maintained and also, cleaned up and desedimentized and make it totally functional. So that's a condition that needs to be at the end of construction as well.
Yeah, yes, I believe that the applicant's already gone out there and cleaned up some of it, in accordance with, in it, working with the township to get that done. But yes, at the end of it, we'll agree to comply and clean it up as well.
Yeah, because there's going to be some sedimentation going on during the construction.
Yes.
And then as far as soil movement, can you give some testimony, volume, number of trucks, haul route, et cetera?
Yeah, well, the rough calculations is about 20,000 cubic yards maximum that soil will be moved, either brought into the site or taken out. And the maximum amount per day is about 1,500 cubic yards. As far as route and everything, I'm not sure about that.
20,000 is moving around inside the site, not necessarily coming to it.
Right, right. The 20,000 cubic yards would be total soil movement on site, not that there's 20,000 cubic yards of fill required. And then just historically, from experience, about 1,500 per day, 1,500 cubic yards per day is what will be able to be handled.
That's quite a few trucks, okay. And
Yeah.
your haul route, you mentioned is what?
I don't know the whole route. If you,
Mr. Chairman, if we can recall our applicant's representative, we can answer this question. Great.
So the way that we're trying to build the site is to essentially what we call balance the site. So there'll be some cuts and some fills. So a significant volume of the 20,000 cubic yards will be soil moving around on site, which sometimes is done with trucks and then other times will be done with other equipment on site. So it's not necessarily that there's a haul route where, we're coming in and out of the site. The movement will be contained within the site itself, post the demolition of the building and prior to the construction of the the pad for the new building, if that makes sense.
I want to get it on the record.
Sure, absolutely. And we did submit the soil movement permit as well. There was a requirement, so that it was approved by the board.
And then, I think, not on our comments, but just, there is it's for EV parking spaces, there is a township pavement marking standard that should be used, just as a condition. I'd like to add that, a condition to this approval, that the applicant checks with the construction department and uses that exact stencil requirements, the color and the markings, that's a township standard.
Okay, we'll reach out to the construction department and we'll add that detail to the plans.
Thank you.
And the only other comment in regard to the stormwater, which I think we can work with your office, in trying to limit the amount of fill on the site, we've run some of the drainage pipes somewhat flat, and so the velocities are down. So there's, I guess, if we can work with your office to try and maximize the velocities to the maximum extent possible, we'll work with you in case we maybe are under the minimums.
Yeah, exactly. Submit your counts and we'll go over.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you just go over your testimony on the dumpsters, where they're located?
Yeah, we're providing a compactor, at least one compactor. It's at the east end of the loading docks. So there's the drive-in ramp, which is the furthest concrete area, and then just the first dock adjacent to that, there'll be a compactor located, so trash can be, placed in there from the building.
Okay, only because my fire prevention and construction department had said 15 feet, so, but that's.
That's for dumpster enclosures, right, so the compactors.
Dumpster enclosure.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have anything else.
Other members of the board have any questions on this testimony at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Other members of the public who have questions on this testimony, if you could please come up and identify yourself and ask a question.
Mike here. Yeah.
Please state your name and address.
Jeff Hardgrove, 22 Clairview. I can point it out on the map if it would help. Engineer, I'm a mechanical engineer, not a civil engineer, so don't hold it against me. And coach for DPR's Defenders this year. So, so appreciate the certified mail and letting us know what's going on. I'm sort of representing some other neighbors from Clairview Road tonight, so we butt right up against the west side there. And what you can't fully see from the 2D view is that basically we own about 2/3 of the wetlands, and then the 1/3 is in the highlighted section there. And it's the tall trees are in the 1/3 section that is in the proposed part of the property. So from what I'm understanding, I'm pretty happy. I think from what I've heard, it sounds like we're talking about keeping the wetlands and most of the trees. I just kind of wanted to clarify that I heard that right. So basically, right now, it's a pretty clear line where the parking lot ends and the trees start. And it sounds like, yeah, in comparing those, so is that a fair understanding of the rendering or?
Yes.
Yes, and specifically in that southwest corner, the existing facility actually expands beyond what we're proposing. We're actually pulling the pavement and driveway back a little bit. We are maintaining all of those existing trees, and then we're providing some additional lawn space between those trees and the new facility.
Yeah, that will just to fully satisfy the neighbors. I think that's the main concern, is that in the winter, it's pretty clear. You can see straight into the office complex, and I'm not looking forward to a year of construction, but by all means, I understand the need to modernize here, and office spaces are going away and warehouses are coming, and so we'll put up with that, and as long as we can avoid the eyesore of those trees coming down, because they are the tall ones that do block it over there. So that's all I had. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Are there other members of the public?
Mr. Chairman, I forgot to ask a question. Okay if I do?
Sure.
All right. You mentioned that there's 30-something spaces for trucks to park. Is that right?
Yes.
Are any of those going to be refrigerated ones, or will that be determined later on when you get a tenant?
Determined later on.
All right. That might disturb the residents then. I mean, there's a front running all night long. That might be something to think about. Maybe they get parked towards the other buildings and not towards the tree area where the residents are. Maybe you have some cutoff point in the middle or something like that, but just a suggestion.
Well, we do have the sound ordinances,
Yeah,
but,
still annoying sound, like generate on that.
understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So just a thought. That you
Any
guys put in your
other
notes later
questions
on.
from the board? Other members of the public who have questions?
Couple of minor concerns.
Right now is the time to ask a question of this witness of this testimony. If you wish to bring concerns to the board, there'll be another time later where you can do that.
Great.
All right? Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next witness is John McDonough, our planner.
Just want to make sure there are no
Oh,
other
sorry.
members of the public who wish to ask questions. I didn't think so, but
Thank you. Mr. McDonough, if you can provide your, oh, sorry, you want to start
Please
my
raise
first
your hand.
name?
You swear affirm that the testimony that you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and provide your address for the record.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is John McDonough. It's spelled MC, capital DONOUGH, project planner.
And if you can provide your address, business address for the record.
101 Gibraltar Drive, Parsippany, New Jersey.
Great, thank you. And your qualifications as a planner.
I'm a licensed professional planner here in the state of New Jersey. That license is current. It's in good standing. Also a member of the AICP, which is our national certification, also current and in good standing. And I've been here many times.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough. We'd like to offer him as a professional planner.
I think I've seen him here before.
Once or twice.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
I don't see him.
Are there any questions on the witnesses' qualifications? Hearing and seeing none.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, first of all, compliments to the board, to the community for using this redevelopment plan to repurpose underutilized lands, particularly underutilized commercial lands here in the community. The tool's been effective. It's being used here as well. A well laid out plan, and compliments to our applicant here for essentially following it to a T, top to bottom, in terms of all of those important higher tiers of zoning, the use controls, all of the bulk controls, the building height, building coverage, lot coverage, setbacks on all sides, the parking, all comply. The applicant is really here only asking the board to move on one very minor variance, which is really necessary to effectuate the use and all the positives that this permitted use would bring, which is the width of the drive aisle or the driveway aisle, proposed at 35 feet, where 24 is the maximum that's allowed, which is to accommodate the larger vehicles that would come through this site. So the planning justification is all in the interest of safety and safe navigation through the site, without creating any substantially negative impacts that would be typically associated with too wide of a driveway, not increasing the overall lot coverage, not interrupting any parking on the road itself. So I believe that the board can move favorably on this application, that relief can be granted without any substantially adverse impacts to the public or to your redevelopment plan. What I would like to do, Mr. Chairman, just to accentuate the positives that this project is bringing, is just to show some visuals so you get a sense of the condition of the property and the context of the property as well.
So, Mr. McDonough, if we can, I'll.
You want me to take it this way?
Either, you want to split them? I can start on this end. And then if you could just mark this. I think
Yep.
This will be A3.
A3, for the record, is a file-size exhibit, 11 by 17. I think it's 3 pages, maybe 4. Thank you. So again, we're dealing with a single tax lot. It's got excellent spatial capacity, 20-plus acres to accommodate a development of the scale that's before you. Again, compliments to our applicant here for fitting the bulk, the mass, the scale of the project within the confines of the site, respecting our neighbors as well, to the extent that what I'll call the existing development footprint or the limits of disturbance is essentially being respected here and maintained. You can see from the vantage point that we show you here, 3 or 4 vantages of the subject property. as it exists today, up the hill and in the Fox Hill Industrial Park development, nicely nestled within the confines of like uses, and the conversion here from an office-type use to a warehouse use is spot on with the overall character of the area. Again, it is a site that's got excellent spatial capacity to accommodate the development. We've got the expansive asphalt that is going to go away as part of the application, and a nice retrofit with this new permitted use that certainly will promote the general welfare and respond to public demand for logistics and delivery of goods and products. Page 2 shows just the reverse view, and again, everywhere you look, you see commercial uses, excellent buffering that defines this beautiful community, and that landscape that nicely frames this site. Same here in frame number 3, and the lush vegetation that separates this site from the adjacent residential uses, which is going to be maintained. And then finally, just to underscore the need for redevelopment, the 4th frame that you see here is a picture of the building, which has certainly outlived its useful life, as we have seen here with many of the older office buildings here in Parsippany. So we have an applicant here that is ready, willing, and able to convert this land back into productive use, which would advance the positive criteria of the land use law. In terms of the justification for the relief, again, we look at an application that is substantially, if not fully compliant with the higher tiers of zoning in your redevelopment plan. We know that our case law in the Supreme Court tells us that the essence of good planning is rooted in the zoning ordinance. So it is the job of the board to see how this application comports with your zoning ordinance as defined in the redevelopment plan. We've got good case law that says when an application complies, it should be approved, and that's really essentially the case here. In terms of the balancing, the benefits of the application as a whole would substantially outweigh any detriments. We see multiple purposes of the land use law being advanced here, including Purpose A, the promotion of the general welfare. Again, the relief for the driveway width is necessary to effectuate a good use, a permitted use that does provide a critical link in our logistics supply chain, and certainly has been gaining currency as we've moved forward out of COVID. Additionally, Purpose G for a variety of uses in appropriate locations. This is an industrial use in an industrial park in an industrial setting that has excellent capacity and compatibility to accommodate the use that's before you. Purpose M, or planning goal for efficient use of land. Repurposing a site that's already developed for commercial purposes is spot on with that planning goal. And then finally, Purpose I, the promotion of a desirable visual environment. Taking out the old, replacing it with the new, with an attractive, top-of-class warehouse facility here would certainly promote a desirable visual environment. Eliminate the expansive asphalt that's there now. Replace it with the greenery that you see on the plan. All of those add very strong weight here to the positive side. And again, given that very, very minor variance here for that driveway width, little, if any, impact associated with that to the public, to the safety or welfare of the surrounding neighborhoods, or without any substantial impairment to the intent and purpose of your zone plan. All said, I think the application and the visuals I've given you speak for itself. Compliments again to the board on a well-written plan, and compliments to our applicant for following it essentially to a T. So
Thank
I have
you,
on
Mr.
the
McDonough. That's all we have for direct testimony.
Christine, do you have,
No, I don't have any questions.
all right, the members of the board who have questions? Mr.
I
Matt?
should have asked the site engineer this. The two driveways that are 35, are they going to be two-way or one-way?
Two-way.
Okay.
Other members of the board have questions on this?
Just
Mr.
an
DiGio?
observation. Mr. McDonough has a lot of fun with that drone of his. And he doesn't come to a presentation without drone pictures. And by the way, they're all very nice.
And we don't fly at night.
That's good. Other members of the board have questions on this, Mr. Tadich?
A quick question. So even though driveways are two-way, for trucks, are they also two ways or just one way? Or is there a traffic pattern proposed for trucks? Both?
Okay. Other members of the board have questions on this testimony at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Other members of the public who have questions on this testimony at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Counselor?
Mr. Chairman, that's all we have for our direct testimony from our witnesses this evening.
All right, we're going to open up for public comments at this time. Are there members of the public? Are there members of the public who wish to come up and comment on the case at this time? Please come up, identify yourself. You'll get sworn in because we will ask you questions, or we may ask you questions.
So if you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I
And please state your name and address for the record.
Thomas Malloy.
Could you use the microphone, please?
Thomas Malloy, 2 Rustic Way, Rainbow. My first concern is the parking lot lighting. I noticed that we have now on the property, there's 10-foot lights, and we're going up to 30-foot, 29-foot lights. I'm concerned that that light is going to
You
get
speak
through.
into the microphone.
Oh, sorry. I'm concerned that that light is going to get through and be a problem for us. I didn't see the landscaping plan, but on the plan that I was given to look at, there was no landscaping on our side, the west side to Rustic Way. There was a fence between the landscaping, the trees, and lawn. But I didn't see that there was going to be landscaping, because right now, there's evergreens that separate the buffer zone from the commercial property. And those evergreens are 5 feet from the curbing that's going to be ripped out. It's going to be very difficult to remove that curbing without disturbing those trees. So those trees are the only optical barrier we have separating us from the commercial building. Also, there's numerous storms have dropped many trees in the buffer zone. It might be a good idea, under the advice of Parks and Forestry, that some fallen trees be removed so we have a better chance of filling in the buffer zone to keep us separate. Finally, 10 years ago, we had an issue with the previous tenants at 169 Lackawanna Avenue. Our neighborhood is welcoming to all people and is happy to have people walking our streets and enjoying the view. But what was happening is the tenants' employees were walking through the buffer zone into the roads in Rainbow Lakes. And they would be coming out of the woods, walking through our backyard to walk into the neighborhood. And it just became a very dangerous, unsafe environment. So fortunately, when we notified the previous owner, they took care of it in-house and stopped it from happening. But I just think that we need a fence. There's a fence around the retention basin. That fence should continue and block that, because you could almost see our road from the commercial property. We have to block. There's nothing that you can do to stop them. We need to block people coming from the commercial area into the neighborhood. If they want to come around from the streets, they're more than welcome to, but they can't. It was crazy that people were just walking in through our backyards to use the fence. So I'd like to get that addressed as well. That's all.
Do you wish to respond?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I can just have a minute to consult with both the applicant's representative and also the engineer, we can respond to the concerns.
There are a lot of questions.
Yes,
in there.
I just want to make sure we cover them all
We should have
properly.
had you question the engineer when he was. But
Curb is close, and if any of them die, we'll replace them. Like the general ones. The cleanup of fallen trees. I don't know if we'll have to do that with single permit. If we can clean them up, we'll clean them up. Yeah, that's fine. You said the previous owner went with the backyard, because I know what you're talking about, so like people were cutting trees.
So I think this should be on the record, so if you can, you're permitted to cross-examine the commenter.
if you could come up, sir, and
Yeah, it's not a long cross-examination, but, so I'll just dive right into it. So on the lighting, our engineers have, done the calculations, and the light levels at the property line, even though we have taller fixtures, are zero. Now, if there's any issues, I can say, we're gonna property manage the property too, so if there's any issues in the future, just let us know. If for some reason that the fixtures as specified and as installed don't provide that zero at the property line, we'll make an adjustment in the future. We don't have a problem.
I'm sorry. Can I ask if you tested this in the winter, or was this just in the summer for lighting?
So I believe the way that the light calculations work, and I'll ask Chris to verify this, is as if the specified light fixture is there and there was actually nothing between that specified light fixture and the property line at all. So I don't think the light fixture is even relying on trees whatsoever to get to zero. I think it's just the way that the shields are located and how it is. But is that? Yeah, that's correct. So it's not even taking into account that the trees are there. So I think with the trees, it should definitely be zero. The second one was about the evergreen trees. I know what you mean, even though we're saying that we're going to keep them. Some of them are close to the curbs that we're ripping out. So we certainly, if any of the ones that we end up removing because they don't live, because we ripped the curb out, I think they will live, to be honest, because we're going to take the curb out, we're going to mill up the asphalt, and then we're going to put the new asphalt in, and largely, we're kind of moving, if this is the existing curb, kind of the new road and the new curb's going here. So I think that we can definitely agree that if any of those that we try to leave die, we'll just replace them. That's not a problem.
you would be willing to work with the township forester on maintaining.
Yeah, so the fallen trees, I think there's a certain area that's the wetlands that we're technically not allowed to disturb or go into, but then there's a certain area that's outside the wetlands. So to the extent that it's, dead trees on our property that have fallen over and they're in the non-wetland area, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be willing to clean them up. I probably would prefer to have it cleaned up, so we would do that. And then, how did the prior owner solve, because you said they solved the issue on the backyard walking?
They had a meeting, and they told their employees they were no longer allowed to walk through the buffer zone.
Yeah, so we'll be the property manager for the property, so what I would say is that if it becomes an issue at all in the future, we'll make sure that all of our tenants up front know not to do that. We do have a number of other buildings, actually, too. These are our buildings here. There's 3 buildings right here that are ours as well, so, we have quite a presence. We also own the building over here. So, we'll be in the neighborhood. If you guys have any issues with that, just let us know. We'll do the same thing, and we'll let our tenant know not to do it if they do. If that doesn't work, then we would potentially consider doing a fence, but I'd rather not put up a fence right up front if it's not gonna be a problem.
That's perfectly fair and understandable, and I'm good with that. And this is on the record, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions by members of the public on this testimony at this time, or any comments, I should say? Did the board have any questions or any thoughts?
I wanted to add, just based on the public's comment, I see that the lighting, that east side facing that neighborhood is 3 wall-mounted lights, that are casting, even though you're compliant with the foot candles at the property line. It may be a good suggestion to make those, pole-mounted lights facing toward the building.
We can work with you on that, and if that's what we decide to do, that we'd be fine with
I
that.
think the optics will meet
Yeah.
the lighting requirement.
Sure.
And less of a chance of anything actually seeing the bulb.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, that's acceptable.
Okay. Any other comments from the public? Questions from the board? Counselor, do you want to sum or say anything, or?
Sure, yes, just a brief summary. We'd like to thank the board and board professionals for your time this evening. The applicant really did make a great effort to comply with the redevelopment plan. Of course, we understand we do need the variance from the underlying ordinance as to the driveway widths. Hopefully, through the testimony that you heard this evening, it is a variance that is just necessary for the safety of this particular use of the property. We are excited to have another property in town and to be hopefully demolishing the building in the near term. The process for demolition has already started, so we are eager to get going, and we just hope that you look favorably on our application this evening. Thank you.
Okay. This closes the evidentiary portion of tonight's hearing. Counselor, what have we heard tonight?
So some of the conditions that were agreed to were that the applicant will comply with and work with the township and board professionals to address the comments and recommendations in all of their reports, and work with the township to prepare, to formalize the easement for the water tower or water tank, to use the township standard for EVSE pavement markings and add those details to the plans. And then with respect to the public comment, to replace the evergreen trees along that residential buffer if they are to die during the construction process, and work with the township forester in the area outside the wetlands to clean up any fallen trees. And then to manage the property to prevent tenants, employees from walking through that buffer area, and work with the neighbors to address that issue if it arises. And then to relocate the lighting, or to alter the lighting at that northwest corner to be pole mounted facing inward instead of towards the residential buffer. That's what I had. Okay.
Anything else? Do I have somebody willing to make a motion approving?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dedich.
Motion to approve application number 25:510 GREP Acquisition LLC, 169 Lackawanna Avenue, Block 136, Lots 33, Zone SED-5A, preliminary and final major site plan with major soil moving permit for construction of a warehouse, as per the conditions noted.
Do I have a second?
Second, Mealy.
All right.
Whatever.
Nora, would you call the roll, please?
Didich,
Yes.
DePiero,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Neely.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Napolitano.
Yes.
Shaw.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Dinsmore.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Spell.
Yep. Is there anything else that needs to come before tonight's meeting, before we, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Motion to adjourn.
All in
Second.
favor,
Third.
say aye. Anybody opposed gets to live here.
Nicole. I had already
Yeah, I mean,
texted you.
board, Matt.